Good evening, Broncos country. Let's give it a moment for the stream to breathe, to welcome in all of our platforms here.
Think
All
we're good
right.
to go.
And we are good to go. Welcome in, guys, to another installment of the Orange and Blue View. I'm your co host, Ron White. That side of me is my partner in crime, Thomas Hall. How are you doing today on this lovely Saturday, Thomas?
I'm doing well. I'm ready for Christmas. We are all ready for Christmas, and it's happening. We're excited, and it's only 2 days away, so it's good. It's good, and we've got hopefully a Christmas present coming the day before Christmas. Hopefully, the Broncos can beat the Patriots. They better be able to beat the Patriots. So with all that's going on, but yeah, going good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well as well. Yep, getting ready, to be with the family for the holidays. So it kind of snuck up on me here, and I was like, wow, it's already Christmas. It's so weird. And as you guys see, rocking a reflection of tomorrow, the snow-capped helmets tomorrow. So I kind of wanted to have on the white hat to kind of reflect that as well. So again, you're right, Thomas. Hopefully the Broncos can pull out win convincingly tomorrow because this Patriots team is they have a lot of key injuries, and based on their record this season, it should be a pretty convincing win for the Broncos, but we will see. So let's get to the chat here. Got some people coming in. Got David Yonkin coming in. Thank you, David. We appreciate you, my man. He says, Merry Christmas to you and your family at Denver Broncos for life. Oh, with the score prediction already. Nice. Broncos 20, Patriots 17. Well, again, David, thank you for coming in, and we hope that's the end result. We hope that the Broncos get this dub tomorrow. If they don't, Thomas, it's going to be very they're gonna it's gonna roll some heads tomorrow for sure if they don't come up victorious. So they have no excuses to end up on the winning side tomorrow night.
Yeah. If they don't win, there's no hope for the playoffs. So they have to win out if they want to go to the playoffs. If they don't win out, the chances of them making it are pretty slim. And last weekend we saw they lost, but everything else didn't go their way pretty much. But this
Right.
weekend, so far, the Steelers beat the Bengals. That's the first step. Now the Broncos have to take care of their business tomorrow, which will help. And the nice thing too is, even if the Steelers went out and the Broncos went out, the Broncos go to the playoffs because they have the common game uh, calculation to get to the playoffs. So whatever the Steelers do doesn't matter now. So I'm glad that they beat the Bengals just less than an hour ago. I think
Yeah.
they finished that game. So I'm excited to see how this goes. I think the Broncos can beat the Patriots. They better, especially with the Patriots losing some key offensive players,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean they're basically their star offensive players are pretty much out
Mm-hmm.
from my perspective, and they're the Broncos are playing at home, so there's no reason why this they can't beat this team, and that's what we're going to talk about is how they can beat them, what they can do, and that's what our show's all about. So I'm going to grab Michael Ronquillo coming in with Facebook Stars. Thank you for the support, Michael.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Mike.
you being here. Good evening, Thomas and Ron on Orange and Blue View. Go Broncos. Thank you for that. And I hope
Thank
you
you,
have
Mike.
a very Merry Christmas, Michael. Thank you so much for the support. Really, really appreciate it.
Yes, most definitely, Mike. Thank you for coming in. And we got Papa Bear here, David McGillrath coming in. Thank you, my man. We appreciate seeing you in the chat as always. He says, good evening and Merry Christmas, Broncos country. Merry Christmas to you as well, David. Hopefully you're ready or getting ready to be with the family there. Tom, Ron, Dylan, and Deacon Scott. Hashtag 10 and 7. Hashtag Buckham times 3. Hashtag MHH for life. Hashtag Denver Broncos for life. Yes, and I know you had to modify that that final record there, but yep, 10 and 7. And there is no reason why the Broncos, cannot achieve that, given what's in front of them. Again, this New England team is very decimated. They should be able to win this handily, and so are the next few games. They should be able to win handily. But again, they just have to take care of business. You're right, Thomas. They're at home. So they'll have the crowd behind them. So they should be able to get this victory.
Yeah, and their path to the playoffs is actually quite, if you look at the opponents and you don't judge the rivalry or anything else, but you look at the opponents and where they are at home versus away, the Broncos have the easiest path to the playoffs, really,
Mm-hmm.
if everything else goes right. I mean, they've got 3 teams with losing records, 2 games at home. They should, like I said, should be able to win these games, but depends on who shows up. I keep saying that. Which team will show up every
Yes.
game? And this is it. Like if the team that played Detroit shows up, there's
No.
no guarantee victory anywhere on this schedule. But like I said, if the team that beat the Chargers pretty well, beat the Browns, that team shows up, they should be able to go 3-0.
Yes. Yes, most definitely. And we got C Chain coming in here. Thank you, C Chain. Says, "Let's go. Broncos better win." Yes. They better. And then another comment in here from David coming in says, "I would love the Chargers to win tonight, but I don't see that happening." Yeah, it's going to be with the Buffalo Bills. It's gonna be a tough one tonight for the Chargers. But again, any given day in football, you never know.
Right.
But I think for all of us, we would love to see the Chargers win. So, and I think right now, yeah, the Bills are ahead of us because I think the Bills won last week. So,
Yep.
I think if we win, Bills lose, we have the tiebreaker, so we will
Yep.
leapfrog them. But we'll see what happens, David.
And that's another team that you have to know who shows up, because sometimes that Bills team doesn't show up.
That is
And
true.
they've been playing really good lately, but they've had some pretty big stinkers over this season so far. So hopefully the Chargers just can luck out and somehow win this game. Would be nice.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, Thomas. So I guess we can get into some of the keys to victory and some of the things we have for the
Absolutely.
matchup that's coming up tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'll jump in. So my first key to victory for this Broncos team is they have to win the turnover battle. They don't have to get, a bunch of turnovers. They just have to win the turnover battle, because if they do, that pretty much guarantees that they will win this game.
Mhm.
Almost. When the Patriots this season have lost the turnover battle, just been -1, they are 0-7. Now they don't win all the time, so they aren't guaranteed a victory if they do win the turnover battle. They're 3-4 when they're even or better. But the Broncos just need to give them their offense another chance, right, against this defense to score. I don't know if they're going to score easily or anything like that, but if they give themselves another chance, one more chance with the ball, they should be able to win this game.
Good. That's a good one. And then my key to victory, or my first one, is they have to be more physical, especially on defense. They have to stop this run. Stopping the run is crucial. And I know, we allude to that time and time again. Stopping the run is the Denver Broncos Achilles heel. They're very leaky when it comes to stopping the run, but it's paramount. And we saw it last week against the Detroit Lions. I mean, the Detroit Lions just manhandled the Denver Broncos, just whipped them all over the field, at the line of scrimmage,
Yeah.
outside. So the Broncos really have to make a concerted effort. Especially this is a big defensive line game. And I know that's probably going to be one of your keys to victory as well, the defensive line. But they have to. This has to be a big game for them, to shore up those gaps, to stop Ezekiel Elliott, because they can't have the same result that they did last week unless they're going to get whipped. It's going to be a long day. So an emphasis on stopping the run is very crucial for
Yeah.
this team.
I'll agree with you. It's been embarrassing most of the season. It wasn't just Detroit. They've had trouble all season stopping the run, which kind of was surprising that when Tier Tart was available, went on
Mm-hmm.
waivers, they didn't even put a claim on him. Now I know there's some disgruntledness, and that could have been a reason for it. But now Joseph Day from the Chargers was just
Yep.
released as well. He's going to go into. They need to look at that defensive line. They should take a shot at him. They should have taken a shot at Tart, I thought, if they're serious about going to the playoffs, because right now this defensive line is having a very, very difficult time stopping the run. So it's happened all year. So it's been the same players all year, and they've always struggled. So they need to make a change if they're serious about making this run. And his contract is not Joseph Day's contract is not prohibitive. It's
Right.
a 2 years left on it, so you're only going to pay for the first part of this or last part of this season, which is minute. And I think there's even an out after this year that's like 2.5 million dead cap or something, if I remember correctly. So it's not a bad deal. So I don't think they're going to do it just based on the waiver claims they've put in so far, but it would be a smart move on my from my perspective that they would take a shot at that to help with the run. It's not going to help this weekend, obviously,
Right.
but what will help is the fact that Stevenson, their starting running back, is out. That'll help quite a bit, I think. So, yeah, the Broncos have no excuses this weekend. The Patriots are not a very good team, and they are banged up. A lot of their stars are out. They have no excuse. So my next key to victory is to pressure Bailey Zappi. I'm assuming he's still going to get the start over Mac Jones because they've been having him run that offense the last couple of weeks, and I think they've kind of moved on from Mac Jones. So that for me, the pressure on him is going to be huge. If you look at the times that he started in 2022 and 2023, if you can get to around 15% or more pressure rate on him, that team is 0-3 when he's the starter. And if it's around 10% or around 11% or less, somewhere in that area, they're 3-0. So you've got to pressure Bailey Zappi, which will lead to hopefully to that turnover margin. Yeah, I'm hoping. So
yeah, that's a good one. Getting pressure on Zappi is also key because I've seen a lot of his film earlier with some of those other games, and yeah, once you rattle him, you can force him into some errant throws. And the Broncos, if they can get pressure on him, we've seen it before where Cooper and Browning come right at you, and they can force those quarterbacks into a lot of those errant throws. So I would expect nothing less from this team, especially with somebody as doesn't have as much experience like a Bailey Zappi, for sure.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Now we're talking about keys to victory right now, but if you want to be a winner this weekend or over the holidays, make Little Caesars the official pizza sponsor of the NFL part of your game day. I think pizza and football go together quite well. I know Christmas is coming up, but if you're going to be cooking a lot, right? You're going to be cooking a lot on Christmas. Grab a pizza to watch the game on Sunday. You can't really go wrong with that. Order online during our Pizza pregame 1 hour before and 3 hours after NFL kickoffs, plus all day on Sunday, and get ready for some football and fun.
Yes, choose your favorite Little Caesars pizza or pick the toppings that you guys like and crave. Either way, you win. So on my pizza, and I love Little Caesars. I love pepperoni. I love sausage. Sometimes I'll do the supreme. Sometimes I'll do bacon. Pineapple. It kind of depends on my mood. But speaking of winning, everyone scores with a convenient delivery or our in-store pizza portal pickup. So grab some friends and enjoy a few slices during the game.
Thanks for the pizza emojis, Michael, and thanks for being here. I know I'm looking in the chat. Everybody's talking about Sebastian Joseph Day being released from the Chargers, and the one thing that I said about T.R. Tart was that there was some disgruntledness. Maybe they didn't want to bring that into the locker room. Joseph Day was a captain, right? He was. That was a surprise. So I don't know what's going on, but if they thought he was not a problem in the locker room, they wouldn't have made him a captain. So I think that they have a real shot at going out and helping this defensive line, and I really hope they do.
Yes, most definitely.
All right. My next key to victory is a simple one. I think if the Broncos can get to 20 points, they're going to win this game. I mean, really, because first of all, the New England Patriots offense is pretty anemic. They are not scoring points. They've only scored more than 20 points twice this season. That's it. And the Broncos they need to take the points, have an efficient offense. Don't take too many big chances. Don't try and force the ball anywhere. Just be efficient. Take the field goals.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, just take those points. Don't try to get fancy or cute. Just run an efficient offense. The first one to 20 points is going to win this game, in my opinion. And hopefully they can score more than that. But that's what I'm looking for. If the Broncos can manufacture 20 points, they're going to win this game.
That's a good one, and that actually feeds into my next, as far as kind of taking what the New England Patriots defense gives the offense for the Broncos. Score when you can, make the play when it's there, and that's get the ball out quickly on offense, stay consistent with that short passing game. Because that again, that I think that's going to be a great complement to Pookie running the football.
Yep.
I think this is going to be a game where you don't have to go deep. Although we all love the deep passes, but which I'll allude to here later when it comes to the players to watch, we know that Belichick is notorious for taking away the opponent's number one wide receiver. So, we may not get most of the siding of Cortland Sutton that we want, but other playmakers are there, obviously. But I think this is going to be a game where you can get Judy involved with the quick passing game, a little Jordan Humphrey involved with the quick passing game, Mims as well with some of the sweeps. So just kind of use that as well to complement what you have on the running game to somewhat keep it mixed up and keep the New England defense guessing.
Sure.
And then my other key, I think you covered your last, but my other key is do not let, I know Hunter Henry's out. I know he's been downgraded to out, but I think the next tight end on their roster is Gesicki. So let's not let the tight end take over the game. That's another Achilles heel for the Denver Broncos, letting tight ends just run wild all over the field. So if we have a plan to stop the run and stop, things within the middle of the field, let Gesicki getting wide open all the time, I think that'll also force Zappy to look elsewhere to throw the ball. And of course, with that defensive pressure, it can kind of force him into some of those bad throws.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Now, I don't want to derail this too much, but I love talking about movies. And Todd's asking us, what, in the spirit of the scene, what is your favorite Christmas movie? And I want to answer it because I really don't have a favorite, right? I love Christmas Vacation. I love A Christmas Story. I like The Grinch with Jim Carrey, even though that wasn't well received at the time. But, it's funny. I watched White Christmas last night. I love that movie, even though it's a musical and there's dancing and all that stuff. I do love it. So I have a few. I don't know if I can say I have my favorite, but when I was a kid, it was definitely, or when I was younger, it was Christmas Vacation. I really did love it.
Yeah, this is a good question, Todd. Thanks for asking. I would say A Christmas Carol is mine.
Nice.
The old classic. Yeah, the old classic. What was that? 1984. Yeah, I believe with George Scott and Frank Finlay and David Warren and all them in there. Yeah, that's actually a very nice one.
Have you seen?
I haven't even watched it this year yet. Surprisingly, I'm actually kind of starting to really just now get into the Christmas spirit. So I'll probably watch that tonight after the game.
Have you seen the Man Who Invented Christmas? It's about Dickens writing A Christmas Carol. Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't seen it. I've heard of that, but I have not seen it.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that. I haven't seen it yet either, but we are gonna watch it. So I'll let you know how it goes. But Todd, thanks for the break from football a little bit. I'll talk about movies all the time. Football and movies, we can talk that all day. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Gary Palmer's coming in with some support. Thank you for the super chat, Gary. Really do appreciate that. And I hope that you and your family have a very Merry Christmas and happy holidays and ring in the new year. And hope for a really good 2024. That's what I'm hoping for. So
yes,
he says, pizza, go Broncos. So thank you, Gary, for that. Really, really do appreciate that. All right. So next, let's get into some players that I think we should really watch. And then also our matchups, but we can just kind of mix and match. But I think Javonte Williams is a key player, and not because he's extraordinary this year at running the ball. He's been actually pretty mediocre, and the Patriots, probably will shut him down for the most part, but they have to have some semblance of a running game. So he has to grind out some tough yards, even if it's like 60, 65, 70 yards, and that's it. He has to grind out some good yardage. And I just to keep that defense honest, keep mixing it up, being able to move get that first few yards on that first down to be able to move the chains here and there. I think he's going to be key to this game.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I do have Javonte doing well. They're going to be. You're right. They're going to be tough yards for sure, but I think he'll still be able to have a big day. Mine is the person I just alluded to of Cortland Sutton. I'm looking, as I mentioned earlier, Belichick's way of eliminating that number one receiver. But having said that, I'm still wanting to see Sutton moments from his first year in Denver and that Pro Bowl season as well, of just getting those 80-20 balls, because as we know, he can get those. So he actually is the highest graded receiver in the NFL on contested targets this year. So being able to, use him when he's being double covered, sometimes even triple covered coming down. And there'll be maybe a few times where they just leave him open, but I want to see, him in his form of just getting the ball down, coming down with the ball with just everyone in his face. So that's a good player to watch for this game. Just for the highlight reels. I think I'm looking at it more from the highlight reels. Again, it may not be, Russell Wilson going to Sutton every play and force feeding him, but some of those plays will be there for Sutton to come down with the ball.
Yeah, for sure. Lawrence Rivera is coming in with Facebook stars. Thank you for the support. He says, "Merry Christmas, guys. You deserve it, from my family to yours. Hopefully they get a win tomorrow. Thinking about taking my son to his first game." Lawrence, thank you for the support first and foremost, and a Merry Christmas to you and your family. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. And yeah, you know what, Lawrence, there are some folks on Twitter I saw today that are offering up either tickets for free or very, very well discounted because they can't go. So if I don't know if you're on Twitter, but check that out. They might still be available. So pretty good deals I saw. So yeah, hopefully that'll be fun, going on Christmas Eve, going and checking out this game, and being loud and having fun. There's nothing like a live. It's harder to watch, really. You're from the stands, I think, than on TV to see all the details happening, but it's so much more fun.
Yes, thank you, Lawrence, and that'll be great. Yep, if you can get to the game, that'll be great for you and your son. And again, just being in the crowd, yelling the incomplete. That's my favorite part when I go to the games. Just being with the crowd and yelling the incomplete when it's incomplete on the opposing side. So that'll be great for the Suns' first showing of the Denver Broncos. Hope you can make it.
Quentin Caldwell coming in with a super chat. Thank you so much, Quentin. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being here on Saturday night. Of course, it's always hard to get here, but the support especially, and just being able to chat with us. It's always fun chatting with you, Quentin. And I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Quentin says, "Good evening, everyone. We need Day, Sebastian Joseph Day, as we were talking about, to help the D-line against the run. I guess Peyton is not making a move in free agency unless we win these last 3 games." Well, I think that he needs to make a move if he can. He can make a move right now by putting in a waiver claim. Now, they may not get it. They may not get him. Someone might put a waiver claim in that's, farther up the list, which is at this point, if you're out of the playoffs, you may not be putting in that waiver claim for him, but maybe so. But you're right. The D-line needs to step up, and they need some help. And the same D-line that's been getting run over in the running game all season is the same D-line that's going to be playing on Saturday, or on Sunday, on Christmas Eve. So they really need to make something happen. And I think if they win this game and they don't put in a waiver claim on Joseph Day, I think they're going to be kicking themselves, because I think he can help them in the last couple games and into the playoffs if they get in. So I don't think it would hurt anything to take, like I said earlier, his contract isn't very big, and I'll look it up, but I believe there's an out after the season that's only like $2.5 million dead cap. So you're really just, you could rent him for 3 games and into the playoffs. Why not go for it? You know that your defensive line is not working well, and that's my big matchup. Really, is the defensive line cannot get pushed around in this game like they did in the Detroit Lions game. They got manhandled, and this cannot happen because you cannot let the New England Patriots come in with their pretty lackluster offense and run down your throat all game. And it would be embarrassing if they were able to do that.
I 100% agree. Thank you for coming in, Quentin, with this comment and this question. And yeah, you're right. They need to acknowledge that the D-line is weak. It's not good at all. And we saw that again. We saw that all season, but again, it really came home to roost last week. Like again, they were just getting pushed up, down to the side of the field. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to see just how the Detroit Lions had their way. So, if they could, you're right, Thomas, if they can just at least put in the claim to get Sebastian Joseph Day, that'll be great, because I think they'll be okay on the defensive line. I think for these next few games that they'll be okay. But yeah, in the playoffs, if they do make it, the competition is much better. Facing a lot of these, especially a lot of these bigger offensive linemen, especially of the Baltimore Ravens. You got Miami, depending on who they have to face if they get in. So having that extra body on the defensive line can definitely help with getting some of that push that you need. Because again, they cannot get whipped around, because if they do get whipped around, that's it. It's going to be a long day. So we will see what they do, Quentin. But I think they need to try to at least put in that claim now to get Joseph Day. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt at all.
And I just looked it up. Sebastian Joseph Day he's got a $9 million cap hit for this season, but of course that's it's only for the last 3 games, so it's a very small portion of that. And then the dead cap for 2024 is only 2.5. So if you didn't want him in your future and you wanted to make a waiver claim and have him for these last 3 games, then you got it. So I think I don't see what the deal was with, like I said, with T.R. Tart. When we talked about that, I could see they didn't want that kind of locker room issue that happened at Tennessee. I got it. I get that. But there doesn't seem to be a problem with Joseph Day. Why not take a shot at it? I don't get it. So thank you, Quentin, for that. Yeah. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. And again, have a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right. My next, it's actually kind of a combination of 2, but it's PJ Locke and Jaquan McMillan. And the reason why I say that is the last 3 games, the New England Patriots have been caught in 2 of them with a DB blitz off the edge, getting to the quarterback. A couple sacks by DBs unexpectedly. I think that could, in these games when it's a defensive battle, offenses really aren't going to be scoring a lot. That one key play like that can turn the tide. And even if he knocks the ball loose or whatever, even better. But that would stop a drive and get the ball back and hopefully score again. So I'm looking for at least 1 or 2 DB blitzes. Hopefully one of them will get home.
Nice. And then as far as speaking of Jaquan McMillan, that was actually one of my key matchups. McMillan and maybe Moreau as well, depending on how they have shadowing versus Demario Douglas. So I want to see the ball hawking skills of McMillan, in addition to those blitzes that Vance Joseph does employ. The cover skills of McMillan is just they're great. So Douglas does average approximately 7 targets a game, but there may be an uptick in the number of receptions because Hunter Henry's out. So that level of production may increase. But, outside of those blitzes, Thomas, I want to see McMillan kind of jam Douglas, kind of be really on him at the line of scrimmage and potentially get that pick that we're wanting to of Zappy. So that'll be a nice, interesting matchup to see.
For sure. I'm going to grab this comment here by Adam Strange. Thank you for being here. Asking what D starters are injured. I don't know if you mean Broncos or Patriots, but I'll talk about both, and we can just get the injury report out of the way right now. So number one, it's not injury related, but Kareem Jackson is inactive. He's not going to
Mm-hmm.
play. So that's a defensive player that could play that isn't going to be. I prefer PJ Locke starting over him, but I do think he had value to be activated. So I'm not sure why he wasn't. Maybe they just want to wait a week to get him back into after missing those games to the suspension. But Benito, Nick Benito is out. D player definitely is not playing. Dulcich is not playing as well, offensive player. And then the only other player that is out is Alex Pelcheski, an offensive tackle that rookie undrafted free agent that finally gets his shot to get activated. But yeah, he's out because they don't really need him to be active, right? They don't. His the swing tackle is already established, and the offensive line has been relatively healthy, knock on wood. So they don't need him. But as far as the Patriots go, Jabril Peppers is out. That's their star free safety. I mean, he's one of the stars on their defense. He's out. Barmore is questionable. We'll see. I mean, that's their sack leader. And in fact, I'm going to talk about Miners versus Barmore. That's a matchup that he needs to win because he can be somewhat disruptive. He's their, like I said, their sack leader, but he's questionable. He'll probably end up playing. And then Jonathan Jones is questionable, a DB for their team. Also, one of their linebackers. I don't know if he's a starter or not. Actually, two linebackers are questionable. Anthony,
I think 3 are
questionable due to sickness, so maybe he'll feel better. So, I mean, it's a pretty long injury report. That was just the defensive players. There's still a bunch of questionable offensive players, and so it's Schuster is out. Hunter Henry is out. Their Stevenson, their running back, is out. So it's a mash unit there. So they definitely have the opportunity to win this game. So
yeah, most definitely. And thank you. Yeah, I think Trent Brown is also out, and I think all three of their inside linebackers are either out or questionable. So yeah, again, to the point of that laundry list of injuries for New England, there should be no reason why the Denver Broncos cannot win this game. Everything is in their favor. They should not drop this game at all, given what New England is bringing out there on offense and defense.
Yeah. Now, I'm not, like I said early, if the wrong team shows up, they can lose this game. They can lose all the rest of their games. If they play well, they should be able to win. And I know Belichick's a good coach, but the Patriots are just not a very good team this year. They only won 3 games. They can't score very many points. They've got a decent defense, but like we said, there's a bunch of people that are hurt out. If the Broncos cannot take this victory at home, there's no way they're going to make the playoffs. So, yeah. And we've got Mike Golden coming in. I've not seen you on here before, Mike. Appreciate you coming in on your Saturday, asking, didn't we need the Bengals to lose today? Absolutely. Yes. I don't know if I said this at the start of the show. The Steelers, if the Steelers went out and the Broncos went out, the Broncos have the tiebreakers. It all goes all the way down to common games, and they have that tiebreaker. So the Steelers can win out. It doesn't matter as long as the Broncos win out there. But the Bengals were one that, having a loss really helps. But I don't think it really mattered though, because I think the Bengals, if they go 10-7, the Broncos have the conference tiebreaker, so they don't have to lose another game. They're at 10-7. The Broncos have those two beat. We just need to watch the Bills lose a game so that they're 10-7 as well. The only one that worries me is the Texans, because they have the head-to-head matchup over the Broncos. So yeah, thank you for that. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. All right. Do you have another player that you want to chat about?
Yes. My next player is the quick, elusive Marvin Mims. So I put on here that this game may very well come down to a play or two on special teams. Again, so given that the Broncos still have the number one punt return game, averaging 16.9 yards per return, and the number one kickoff return game, averaging 28.5 yards per return, Marvin Mims can do some damage and provide that good field position that we've seen all season. So I'm more so looking for him to be him on special teams. And of course, I've always pined for Marvin Mims to Peyton to use him more, on offense. And I know that's probably going to take some time. I know he's still somewhat trying to get integrated with the offense, but if he can keep up the special team talent that he's been providing this team, I think that'll be great. But yeah, I think this with the special teams player too, Thomas, that can definitely kind of help decide and put the Broncos over the top in this game.
And we've seen that before where he has been a key player to victory on special teams, getting even though the offense was struggling and couldn't, maybe didn't score, he flipped the field, with a couple punt returns in some of the games. And it was very important player. I'm looking forward to seeing his future, right? I feel like he's got a really good future with this club as a wide receiver and punt returner. So my last player to watch is Russell Wilson. And it's not because I think he's going to light him up or anything like that. I want to see him play efficient, no turnovers. And, if you're going to try and scramble out and you're going to get sacked, just fall down and go into the fetal position like Peyton Manning used to do. You don't try and get, cute, live another day with what they for another day. Right. And even if you have to punt, it's fine. This is going to be a game where turnovers matter. Field position matter. Getting points matters. Do not turn the ball over. And I think the Broncos will have, if Russell Wilson can keep from throwing an interception or getting a strip sack or whatever, fumbling like he's fumbled a few times and lost it. If he can do that, this is going to be a victory for the Broncos.
Good. Yep. That's a good one. Yeah, we just want clean, efficient football. For Wilson, Peyton has somewhat made the playbook a little bit easier for him. And so that, you're right, but we all still see him holding on to the ball too long, forcing himself into sacks. So if he cannot have a lot of those and clean that up and just kind of get the ball out quick, I think you're right. That kind of speaks to him having that clean, efficient game. So we'll see. My last player, Alex Singleton. Alex Singleton, stopping the run is paramount. It is paramount for this Broncos defense. And we talked about the D-line, Thomas, but just for the linebacking core as well, with Jewell and Singleton. Now, the Patriots are not as quick as the Lions, so there's not a lot of speed there because the Lions have a lot of speed on just about every position. So they don't have to worry about that as much. But they still should not, have, close up those running lanes, tackle when the offensive player is there. You cannot let Elliott and Konsicki and those folks outrun you on a lot of plays. Yep. So, I think with that, given that the speed is just not as quick for this New England team, I do expect Singleton and Jewell to kind of be a little bit better at the tackling.
Let's hope so. They need to be.
They need it. They need it for sure. Yeah.
I'm going to grab Lawrence coming in here. Lawrence Rivera asking about K-Jack again. Why doesn't Sean put K-Jack as a refresher for PJ Locke at times when he's tired? He could be. He doesn't utilize players like that. Yeah, to me, it's kind of a head scratcher, Lawrence, that he's not active. I do not think De'Aaron Turner-Yell is a good replacement at safety. He's come in a few times and has not played very well. He seems to be a very decent special teams player, but if you need to give somebody a breather, man, everyone's going to be holding their breath when De'Aaron Turner-Yell is out there because his coverage skills have been lacking, to say the least. Plus, I haven't really cared for his ability to tackle in open field as well. So you're right. I would rather take a shot with K-Jack, but and I'm not high on him anymore either. I think the game's kind of passed him by. He's a little older, but I think I would trust him a little bit more than Turner Yell in that situation coming in to relieve PJ or Simmons for that matter, because they've been thin at safety all year, either through suspensions or injuries or whatever, and not activating the rookie Skinner. They've been very thin at safety. So these guys play a lot of snaps.
Yeah, thank you, Lawrence. It is it is a bit of a head scratcher. Why K-Jack isn't active. Hopefully, PJ Locke doesn't, is not out too much, because when he's on the field, it's great to have him, especially on those blitzes and in coverage. But you're right, Thomas, with Turner Yell, he's been awful. Like in coverage, the tackling's not there. He just looks like a lost player on the field, like when he's there. So, heaven forbid we don't have to see him as much, and maybe the resting for Locke is kind of held down to a minimum. But it's I don't know. Hopefully we'll probably see K-Jack kind of activated there for next week for sure. But I think for this week, I think they're probably just playing it safe. I think that's kind of just my guess here.
And it's Michael's keeping us up to date on the game that's taking place between the Bills and the Chargers. Chargers just scored a touchdown. They're up 10-0. So
Nice.
Broncos fans, we got to be rooting for the Chargers, even though our rival. That's the best. That's the best course of action right there. Mike Golden coming back in, very positive. He says, "Let me tell you guys, we're going to win, and not only win, but we will win out. I have a feeling that we're making the playoffs for sure. Sean Payton has a game plan." Now that I'm excited about that, and I know that there have been, when the Broncos were 1-5, I was down on the team. I was like, they just need to get rid of players, start over. Then they had that winning streak. I loved it. I want them to go to the playoffs. It's been too long since they've been in the playoffs, too long since they've had a winning record. And if they can beat the Chiefs and the Bills, they're going to go to the playoffs. They did that, and I don't want to be wrong. So I want them to go to the playoffs for many reasons.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, for your optimism there. And you're right. This is a totally different team. No one would have thought that starting out 1-5 that we'd be talking playoffs. And you're right. The schedule is set up to where as though they can win out.
Yep.
But again, they're just going to have to be consistent on the field and show that they belong in the playoffs to do so. And again, if we get that same team that we did last week against Detroit, they're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, no,
but
if that was the same team, they're not going to win any of the games.
They're not going to win. They're not going to win any other games.
They have got to have.
They've got to be. Yeah. So, but if they come out, right? But if they come out, like how they beat the Browns and the Bills, that's a team that everyone can say, hey, yes, this is definitely a team worthy of a playoff spot. Yep. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's just a matter of now everybody's kind of on the same page. It's clicking. There's just a few things that they have to just make sure they clean up for consistency, and then they can make that ride into the playoffs. But again, one game at a time.
I'm going to grab this comment from Greg Smith. Thank you for coming in from Facebook. Really appreciate it. Asking who will start at tight end. I don't know if you mean for the Patriots because Hunter Henry is out, or for the Broncos, but it's going to be Adam Troutman starting for the Broncos. Dulcich is out. He's not playing due to that injury. And it's Mike Gesicki, I think is how it's pronounced, for the Patriots. So those are the two tight ends. The nice thing is the Broncos have not played well against tight ends, having Hunter Henry out, who's a pretty decent tight end by, especially in the passing game. I think that bodes well for the team. All right. I think we've hit all of our key matchups, if I know, and our key players, if I remember correctly. So let's get into some predictions. We'll start with some stats predictions, and then as always, we'll finish with our score predictions. So I'm going to go with Sutton. Now, I know that the Patriots have a very solid pass defense, but Sutton against Jonathan Jones, I'm assuming that's who's mostly going to match with him, but maybe not. He's got the height advantage. He's got that jump ball ability over him. I think he's going to have a pretty solid game. I think he's going to get 8 catches, 75 yards. Not huge, but have a touchdown. And I think he's going to, be one of the stars of the offense, even though it's not going to be a huge scoring game.
Nice. I like it. My first stat projection is Samaje Perine. So 4 rushes for 35 yards, 3 receptions on 4 attempts for 30, and 1 receiving touchdown.
Nice. Well, great. I mean, to me, he's been a better running back all around than Javonte Williams has. Not by a huge amount, but he has been. But the thing that bothers me is he's been fumbling a few times in there. One of them went out of bounds, which was lucky. But so I think maybe that's why Javonte's still the starter, because they trust him holding the ball a little bit better. But Purin's, he has been a hero in a couple games with his receptions and some of the runs he's made. So my next one is Russell Wilson. I don't think he's going to have a huge statistical day, but he's going to be efficient. Like I said, you want him to be efficient. Don't try to force it. He's going to go 20 of 28, not a huge passing yards, for about 200, 220 yards, and have maybe throw a couple touchdowns, but that's about it.
Nice. I mean, he may even be under 200, we'll see, but that's good that you have him a little over 200. That's a very good and efficient game for us. So we'll see. My next is little Jordan Humphrey. 5 receptions on 8 attempts, 60 yards, no touchdowns. Again, I'm thinking along the lines of when Sutton is covered, just that person to kind of move the chains, because Russ has to kind of look elsewhere. Judy, obviously, Johnson, Mims, if he's on there, then Humphrey. So I kind of have Humphrey as that guy moving the chains with those stats.
I'm just going to grab this comment from Lawrence with some Facebook stars. So thank you for the support before we finish up our predictions. Asking, what do you think will change this week after Sean's yelling fiasco? Personally, I don't think anything will change. I mean, Sean Payton yells at people. It happens. He comes from the Bill Parcells yelling tree, so to speak. So I don't think anything's going to happen. I think it was just something in the heat of the moment. Sean Payton was frustrated because they had a chance to score and they didn't. And I think his frustration just got the best of him. Russell Wilson, he's the type of person that's just like positive about everything. So I don't think anything will change. I think it's still going to be the same. I don't know, Ron, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think much will change. I think with Sean Payton, Sean Payton's always been that type of guy. He's very, strong-minded, in your face. So I think if anything, this will kind of help just watching the tape, the team watching the tape and seeing that, that firepower coming, help energize the team and get this win, if anything. But yeah, I don't see the dynamic between Russ and Sean Payton and just Sean Payton in general. I don't think much is going to change in that regard at all.
Yeah, I don't either. So yeah, thank you for that comment. Thank you for the support as always. So my last stats prediction is Jaquan McMillan. I think he's going to have a sack. I think he's going to have 4 tackles and a pass defense in a game where the defense steps up. So I would love it if he could have that sack and actually knock the ball loose. I'm not going to guarantee it, but I think someone's going to get a home on a blitz, and I think it's going to be McMillan.
Nice. My last is Jonathan Cooper. 4 total tackles, 2 solo, 2 assisted, and 1 sack on the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know I saw I think I saw at least one prediction out there. I think it was Michael said he gave a prediction. He says Broncos 24, Patriots 21. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if as long as they win, I don't care. I don't know if the Patriots are going to be able to score 21 touchdowns, but they might. It might be closer because you might get one at the end and make it close. But yeah, I don't know. What's your prediction, Ron?
Yes, that's a good one. I mean, that's an interesting one, Mike. Yeah, yeah. Again, I don't know if it's going to even be that that high scoring, at least for the Patriots. The Broncos can get 20 something. The Patriots, however, that only time will tell. But my prediction. So I would say going to these keys of the Denver Broncos have to come out on all cylinders tomorrow night, stopping the run, making sure that they can get Zappy off of his spot on offense. Opening up the lanes for Pookie. Again, they're going to be tough yards for Pookie, but I think Pookie will be able to make hay with what's there and be able to run the ball and have a pretty decent day. So, again, given how decimated the New England Patriots are, and the Broncos don't have a lot of injuries at all, and the Broncos are playing at home, I do expect the Broncos to win. So, with having said that, my final score: Broncos 21, Patriots 13.
All right. Well, the thing of it to me is the Broncos seem to have bounced back after a couple losses. They bounced back after going 1-5. I think they bounced back from the embarrassment in Detroit, and they beat this team 20-9. I think that the Patriots just don't have enough weapons right now to score enough points. So that's what I've got. 20-9. John Wade's coming in. Broncos 24, Patriots 3. Greg Smith's very
Hmm,
close to mine. 20-10
okay.
Broncos. So yeah, it's a close one. I think I think we could be right, Greg. But I'd take the Broncos winning by 40. I don't care. It's as long as they win 1 or 40. I don't care. Lawrence is 31-28. Whoever holds on to the ball more. All right. So
All right,
we got a
Lauren.
few coming in here. And then we've got Turtle 4614 saying 27-14 Broncos with 3 takeaways. It's funny. I love the takeaways. And I just want to make a little comment and then we're going to end the show if we don't have anything else really to say. But the thing about the takeaways, everybody say, oh, the takeaways will dry up, and the Broncos are going to start losing. And they will. But you know what? The teams that typically go to the playoffs are a team that can take away the ball. Most of the teams that make it in there usually take the ball away at a pretty good clip. So, they're not going to be able to get 3 or 4 every game, but they should be able to get a couple. And it's not a bad thing to see a defense take the ball away going into the playoffs. So I think it's a good. Go ahead, Ron.
I know, and to that comment, I'm glad you mentioned because I like takeaways as well. Any opportunity to give the ball back to the offense is great, but you can't because you can't rely or count on the takeaways game in and game out.
Right.
So the fundamentals of on defense are going to have to reflect, and we've seen what happens when the Broncos don't get takeaways. We just saw it last week against Detroit. And it ends up being a long day. Those weaknesses come out in the wash, not being able to stop the run and just getting manhandled at the line of scrimmage. So, although takeaways are great, and especially in the playoffs, they're great, I still think that the fundamentals of defense of stopping the run and knowing your gaps and winning the lines of scrimmages and being able to cover. I think those are also great and will that complementing with the takeaways will help playoffs teams go far.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Michael Ronquillo's coming in with a little bit of final support. Facebook stars, thank you very much, Michael. Saying great show tonight, Thomas and Ron on Orange and Blue View.
Yes.
Go Broncos. Pearl Heater, thank you both for a good show. Merry Christmas. Thank you both for coming in here, and really thank you for all the support you've given us. And since we started this show, thank you for being here and having this discussion with us. And yeah, everybody, please have a very Merry Christmas, Happy
Yes.
New Year. I hope everybody has safe and fun holidays with their family and friends. We will be back again next Saturday, right before New Year's Eve, to do another pregame show. And man, we really just need this win this weekend, Ron.
Yes. 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 Broncos country. We definitely need the win this weekend, and again, just pushing us closer to to that playoffs. So hopefully we get it. Should be able to get it.
Yeah. All right. Let's hope that everything goes well this weekend. And Dylan, thank you for being here. Thank you for chatting, being in the chat, saying great conversation as always, everyone. Make sure you share the pod on all platforms and hit the like button on the way out a little bit. It goes a long way. It sure does. Thank you
Yes.
very much, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. And let's hope for a Broncos win.
Yes. Go Broncos. Thanks, guys.